when to check or not to check your weight, and how to use the scale to your advantage. This is today's topic, and I welcome you here. I'm Dr. Gily. I'm a physician practicing internal medicine and nutritionist. And if you follow the tips that we are going to discuss today, I can guarantee that your weight will never exceed your credit score. So let's get started. First of all, is it even useful to use the bathroom scale to monitor your weight? Multiple studies and meta-analysis over the last couple of decades have shown that indeed the answer is yes. Now, it's not to say that the scale itself, just climbing on the scales, it makes you lose weight. Obviously, there is more to it than that. But there is something about self-monitoring that associates with better outcomes in terms of weight loss and weight maintenance over the long term. And it makes sense. This self-monitoring of body weight functions as a proxy for how disciplined, how motivated, how consistent somebody is over the medium and long term when it comes to their efforts to control their weight versus somebody who really doesn't care and doesn't even bother to check it, right? For the rest of this video, I'm going to focus on how to properly use the scale to your advantage in the effort to lose weight. And the first thing I'm going to say here is that self-monitoring of weight is just one small, important, but small part in the overall package, in the multifaceted program that one has to pursue to control their weight, and which involves following and improving a healthy diet for the long term, staying physically fit and increasing the level of physical activity, implementing other behavioral changes and boosting your motivation to be successful. When is the best time to check your weight? First thing in the morning after you use the bathroom, before you have your breakfast, because you'll get the most consistent readings from day to day in that manner. How often should you check your weight? In the beginning, for the first few months, until you reach your medium-term goal to lose at least 5, maybe 10% of your body weight, you want to use it daily. After that, you want to continue to use a few times a week, maybe weekly, over the long term, so as to be continuously aware of small variations on which you can act before things get out of hand. Now, what scale should we use? There is a plethora of different scales, and what I'm going to say here is use the scale that you have, as long as it's accurate, as long as it works for your weight range. In some cases, when the weight is over 300 or 400 pounds, obviously a regular bathroom scale is not going to be adequate. And there are some bariatric range scales for higher weights out there that you could get. And the other recommendation I'm going to make here is these days there are a lot of scales that come with all kinds of bells and whistles, Bluetooth enables. They connect to apps for monitoring your weight on your smartphone. And I generally encourage those unless they cost you a fortune. Another aspect that I also recommend, especially early on when people start to exercise as part of their weight loss routine, is to get a body fat percentage scale, one that you can step barefooted, and they also have a device that you can grab in your hand, and it measures the electrical impedance of different tissues in your body, and using a formula calculates an approximate percentage of body fat. You have to be aware that this is not the most exact or accurate measurement, but it's a reasonable one. And if you use the same device consistently over time as you exercise, as you do more weight training especially, even if you don't lose a lot of weight on the scales, seeing your body fat percentage going down and your lean muscle mass go up is really helpful. And I'm going to place in the description of this video a link to a product that I personally think it's a good mix between accuracy, features, and price, and it includes a body fat percentage that you can find on Amazon. You don't have to buy this specific one, but this is one that I personally like. If you want to go beyond that, some doctor offices have these body fat percentage scales. Some local YMCAs have the same devices, and if you are a member, they can provide these measurements for free. Our local YMCA, even if you are not a member, they can do a measurement, I believe, for $20. So if you do a couple of those a year or more, you get a sense of what the trend is, where you are headed with your program, beyond the numbers on the way, because there is such a thing as normal weight obesity, where people may not have excessive weight, but they have too much fat in their body. And there's also people who have a body mass index that may be in the overweight category, let's say 27 or 28, and yet their body fat percentage is low because they have a lot of muscle mass. So this issue with the body fat percentage is helpful to tease out some of these variations. Now, what do you do with these numbers that you get every morning? I suggest that you keep a month-long log of your body weight and of your minutes of exercise. And I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to a Google document that if you want you can download for free, that allows you to print in one page such a log where you can mark each evening your exercise minutes and every morning your body weight. It will take you less than 30 seconds to do both of these tasks, and you can put it on the fridge door. And you can see as the days of the month progress whether your weight is trending in the right direction and whether you're sticking with your exercise routine. So again, these self-monitoring tools are very helpful to make sure that you stick to your program. All too often I talk to patients and I tell them, well, here's what you need to do. You need to exercise this much. You need to change your diet in this and that manner and so forth. And then 3 weeks or 3 months later, they come back and I talk to them and say, hey, so how is it going? They're like, well, doc, I did it for a couple of days, but then I kind of lost track. Life got too busy and I never done anything about it. And this is the value of self-monitoring kicks in and helps you stick with the program. Now, are there any dangers in using the scale on such a regular basis? There are people out there, and some of my patients even, who raise concerns here, and they say, doc, if I start to obsess about my weight, if I become the slave of the scale, you know, maybe I develop OCD over this, or maybe I develop an eating disorder. And what I want to say here is this. If you are somebody who feels compelled to check their weight multiple times a day for no good reason, certainly there's a problem there, and it's worth checking with your mental health provider, with your primary care provider, to see what's going on. But for most people, in the studies that I quoted in the beginning, others, it's abundantly clear that using the scale to self-monitor your progress, to keep yourself accountable and motivated for weight loss and maintenance, poses no psychological dangers. So don't be afraid to do this. The other objection that I often hear is, doc, you know, I check my weight and I get demoralized. I don't like the numbers that I see. I feel like I want to throw this scale away because I don't like what it's telling me. And while that may be true, remember, this is a tool. It's not an oracle, it's not your enemy, it's a tool. And your attitude should be, I'm using this tool to my advantage to achieve my goal, and the number is just a number. In 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, in 5, in 10 years, the numbers are going to look better and better, and therefore I'm going to be at peace with whatever number I see today on the scale, because I'm on a journey to achieve better weight and better health. And that's the attitude that I think we should have when it comes to using the scales and any other tool for weight loss for that matter. Now, if you found this presentation useful, I suggest that you watch another video I made a while ago about the best diet for weight loss. I'm going to place a link right here that you can click on and watch that. And I appreciate you spending this time with me. I wish you good luck in your efforts to improve your weight and your health. And remember, this is just for educational purposes. I don't provide this as a personalized medical advice, obviously. Until next time, you stay healthy and you stay happy, my friend.